Hello everyone, this is Dr. Pooja Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Management at the Bhopal School of Social Sciences. Today, I'll be making you understand the motivational theories. I've already discussed Maslow's need hierarchy theory as well as Herzberg's two-factor theory in my previous module. Let us take a quick look at the learning objective of today's module. Weerum's expectancy theory, assumptions, merits, and we will be covering Porter-Lawler model, assumptions, elements and significance. When it comes to motivating their employees, it can be said without question that Google stands out from the rest. Google was named the best company to work for by the Great Place to Work Institute and Fortune magazine. The organization topped the list for the 5th time. True, in its short lifespan, Google has acquired for itself a huge, bright workforce, over 50,000 employees spread throughout the world, that serves millions of people all over the globe. However, what is even more exemplary is how Google heavily pampers its employees while still being able to extract one-of-a-kind and outstanding ideas and products from them. Thus, we see that most of the big companies motivate their employees, in fact, better word is nurture them by adopting various practices. These are in fact based on the motivational theories professed by management gurus across the globe. We commence with Weerum's expectancy theory of motivation. Victor H. Weerum in 1964 developed the expectancy theory. This model is based on the belief that motivation is determined by the nature of the reward people expect to get as a result of their job performance. Man is a rational human being. He'll try to maximize the perceived value of such rewards. People will be highly motivated if they are made to believe that if they behave in a particular way, they'll receive a certain type of outcome according to their personal preference. There are 3 variables in Weerum's model given in the form of an equation. Since the model is a multiplier, all the 3 variables must have high positive value to imply motivated performance choices. If any of the variables is 0, the probability of motivated performances tends to be 0. Motivation is a product of valency, expectancy and instrumentality. Let us now understand each variable. Valency. Valency means the attraction of an outcome to the individual. Whenever an individual has preference for a reward, valency is the strength of that preference. The valency is something subjective and varies from person to person. Expectancy. Expectancy is also referred to as effort performance probability. It refers to the extent to which the person believes his efforts will lead to the first level outcome, that is completion of the task. Expectancy is the probability that a particular action will lead to the outcome. It is the perception in the mind of the individual of the likelihood that a particular action or behavior will lead to a certain outcome. Third is instrumentality, performance reward probability. In simple words, instrumentality refers to the belief and expectation of a person that his performance will lead to a particular desired reward. For example, if an individual wants a promotion and feels that superior performance is very important in receiving the promotion, superior performance is the first level outcome and promotion is the second level outcome. superior performance, that is the first level outcome, will be instrumental in obtaining the desired promotion, which is the second level outcome. As the relationship suggests, motivation is equal to valency into expectancy into instrumentality. Motivational force will be highest when all the three factors are high, and the force will be reduced when any one or more of valency, expectancy or instrumentality approaches 0. Veroom's model can also be depicted graphically as given in the figure. Now we need to discuss after this what are the merits of Veroom's theory. The expectancy model is highly useful in understanding organizational behavior. It can improve the relationship between the individual and the organizational goals. This model explains how individual's goals influence his efforts. The expectancy theory is a cognitive theory which values human dignity. Individuals are considered rational human beings who can anticipate their future on the basis of their beliefs and expectations. According to the theory, motivation does not mean satisfying unsatisfied needs. The managers must make it possible for an employee to see that effort can result in appropriate needs satisfying rewards. The level of expectations will improve the motivation to work. Hope you have understood the basics of Veroom's theory of motivation. We now move on to the Porter-Lawler model of motivation. Lyman Porter and Edward Lawler came up with a comprehensive theory of motivation, combining the various aspects. Though built in large part on Veroom's expectancy theory, Porter and Lawler model is a more complete model of motivation. This model has been practically applied also in the study of managers. It is a multivariate model which explains the relationship that exists between job attitudes and job performance. This model is based on 4 basic assumptions about human behavior. Number 1, according to this model, individual behavior is determined by a combination of factors in the individual and in the environment. Number 2, individuals are assumed to be rational human beings who make conscious decisions about their behavior in the organizations. Number 3, individuals have different needs, desires, goals. Number 4, on the basis of their expectations, individuals decide between alternate behaviors, and such decided behavior will lead to a desired outcome. After understanding the assumptions, we need to look at the essential 6 elements of this theory. Elements. Number 1, effort. Effort refers to the amount of energy which a person exerts on a job. Number 2, value of reward. First of all, people try to figure out whether the rewards that are likely to be received from doing a job will be attractive to them. A person who is looking for more money, for example, extra vacation may not be an attractive reward for the person. If the reward to be obtained is attractive, then the individual will put extra efforts to perform the job, otherwise he will lower his effort. Number 3, perceived effort reward probability. In addition, before people put forth any effort, they will also try to assess the probability of a certain level of effort leading to a desired level of outcome, and the possibility of that performance leading to certain kinds of rewards. Based on the valency of the reward and the effort reward probability, people can decide to put in certain level of work effort. Fourth element is performance. Effort leads to performance. The expected level of performance will depend upon the amount of effort, the abilities, traits of the individual and his role perceptions. Abilities include knowledge, skills, intellectual capacity to perform that particular job. Traits which are important for many jobs. What are the traits? Endurance, perseverance, goal directedness. Thus, abilities and traits will moderate the effort performance relationship. Number 5 is rewards. Performance leads to certain outcomes in the shape of two types of rewards, namely extrinsic rewards and intrinsic rewards. Extrinsic rewards are the external rewards given by others in the organization in the form of money, recognition or praise. Intrinsic rewards are internal feelings of job, self-esteem and sense of competence that individuals feel when they do a good job. Sixth element is satisfaction. Satisfaction will result from both extrinsic and intrinsic rewards. However, for being satisfied, an individual will compare his actual rewards with the perceived rewards. If the actual rewards meet or exceed the perceived equitable rewards, the individual will feel satisfied, and if these are less than the equitable rewards, the individual will feel dissatisfied. Now, let us look at the significance of this model. This model is of great significance to the managers since it sensitizes them to focus their attention on the following points to keep their employees motivated. Charged. Number 1, match the abilities and traits of the individuals to the requirements of the job by putting the right person on the right job. Number 2, he should carefully explain to the subordinates their roles or what they must do to be rewarded. Then he must make sure that they understand it. Prescribe in concrete terms the actual performance levels expected of the individuals, and these levels should be made attainable. Number 4, to achieve and maintain motivation, the appropriate reward must be associated with successful performance. Number 5, make sure that the rewards dispensed are valued by the employees. Thus, he should find out what rewards are attractive to the employee and see if such rewards can be given to him. Porter and Lawler model has definitely made a significant contribution to the better understanding of work motivation and the relationship between performance and satisfaction. Here are some suggested readings. There are some books which I have given you, which you can read to get more clarifications, much more understanding about both the Victor-Vieroom theory of expectancy as well as the Porter-Lawler model of motivation. Thank you. Wished to bring you an even more engrossing topic in my next module. Till then, read and read more. Goodbye.